When you lose your focus, you lose your center of gravity. And when you lose your center of gravity, you begin to experience spiritual and emotional vertigo. Let me explain. In order to make it clear, you must first understand what vertigo is. Hi, I'm Kiki with 40 Fit and Lit, and today we're going to dig a little deeper into key ingredient number 3 to fit and lit living. So hang tight.
I need you to love me out, love me, how your blood has cleansed my soul. If no be you, there's no one else.
Okay, guys and gals, here we are. We're back with ingredient number 3 again because this is part 2. Now, as you know, we are talking about focus. Focus is a very, very important ingredient if you want to live a fit and lit life. And so we've been talking about that. But then, after I went back through, watched the video again, I realized I really left out some key points that I really wanted to make. So I decided to come back and make a video number 2 for you guys. And I hope you enjoyed and everything. I do have notes with me today. So if you see me looking down at all, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading my notes because I want to make sure that you really, really understand the point that I'm trying to make here about focus, okay? So we're talking about vertigo. Now, I have had an experience with vertigo, but for me it wasn't all that bad. But I did happen to experience it again through my husband. And so what happened was he turned his head away and really quickly, and the next thing you know, he was suffering with vertigo. So we're going to talk a little bit about vertigo because this is exactly what tends to happen to a person spiritually and emotionally whenever they lose their focus, okay? You have to have focus so that you can know which way you're going and what you're doing, in life. And that is in every area. I don't care if you are setting a goal for a financial goal or a spiritual goal, a mental goal, an emotional goal to be more emotionally intelligent, or whatever it may be. You have to have focus, and you have to keep that focus throughout your journey if you want to get to your destination. So here we go. We're going to talk about vertigo. Now, the first thing about vertigo, there are a few types of vertigo, and I'm not going to talk about the types that can be caused by diseases. That has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about, and it has no bearings on us. What we're going to talk about is what they call BPPV, which is positional vertigo. Now, what happens with positional vertigo is, now this is how you get it, okay? It's pretty much that we have our balance center is in our ears, On the inside of our inner ear, we have these little calcium stones, that keep us balanced, okay? And what happens is, if they move when we move, and if we move a certain way or something like that, or if something jerks us out of place or anything happens like that, then those stones could move out of place. And when they move out of place, you're out of place. So what happens with vertigo is that you get all of these sensations of swimming, and you're dizzy, and it can cause nausea, and you just can't keep your equilibrium. And the reason for this is because those little stones, if they're in place, they tell you that you're standing up. They tell you that you're lying down. They tell you that you're moving to the left or to the right. And if they're out of place, then they make you feel like you're doing something that you're not really doing. So when my husband got vertigo, it was because he was trying to reach something on his nightstand, and he looked over really quickly to grab it. And when he did, those little stones moved. Now, of course, he didn't know that, but when he got ready to lay back down, he just felt so lightheaded and dizzy. and he could not keep his equilibrium. And for a few nights, it was like he couldn't lay on that side, or he couldn't really lay flat because he felt like he was swimming the entire time. And of course, we had him go to the doctor and try to figure out what's going on. And the thing about vertigo is you really feel like your world is falling apart. Now, this type of vertigo is not malignant. It's benign. There's nothing like, you don't have a disease or something. It's just that something is out of place and it's throwing you off balance. But it feels like everything around you is just going haywire, because you can't drive a car if you can't focus, right? You can't operate heavy machinery. You don't need to walk up and down stairs too much. Sometimes just lying down is difficult. Like I said, he felt like he was swimming when he began to lie down. If you are trying to if you tilt your head back a certain way, or if you lean a certain way, it could trigger this vertigo and cause you to just feel like, oh my goodness, my world is about to end. And my husband really seriously thought something was seriously wrong with him. But the truth of the matter is, his balance was off. And that's what happens when we lose our focus, our balance, or our equilibrium. It gets off. Okay, I'm gonna look back at my notes here. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people, they call vertigo motion sickness, but honestly, with vertigo, as you've heard, you can simply be sitting down and feel like you're rocking back and forth. You can be lying down and you can feel like you're swimming, or you're twirling in circles. It can feel like the whole room is spinning. You don't have to actually be in motion. However, sometimes if you are in motion, that could also trigger it and set it off. Okay, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. So I've talked about some of the symptoms, that you get dizzy, you can get nauseous, you feel like the room is spinning, there's a tilting sensation, and I've told you all the ways that it's triggered. Wow, I'm doing better than I thought without looking at these notes. So when you focus on the wrong thing for too long, then what happens is all the things going on around you, whether they just be in your head or whether they are out in the open happening around you, when this happens, you begin to experience what we call vertigo, because what happens is your mind is telling you, these things happening around you are telling you that your world is crashing. Just like those little stones in your ears are telling you, no, you're lying down when you're really sitting up, or no, you're sitting up when you're really lying down. And that's what happens to people when they get off focus. And let me tell you something else that's really, really interesting about this type of vertigo, because there's only one way to cure it. And that is truly to get those stones that are lodged in the wrong areas in the inner ear back into place. But what happens is, a lot of times you go to the doctor, and what are the first thing they want to do to you? They want to give you medicine. They want to give you medication to stop the nausea, to stop the dizziness. And you know what? You can medicate a lack of focus. You can medicate a problem for a while, and it might help a little bit. And that's if it doesn't give you side effects. But if you're going to really live a fit and lit life, then you're going to have to focus. And you're going to have to deal with the underlying problem of why you're experiencing this spiritual or emotional vertigo. If you're experiencing emotional vertigo, then you're all over the place in your emotions. I mean, you're over here and you're over there, and you just feel like everything around you is tossing around. But the only way to really, really fix it is to get those stones back into place. And for you, the only way to fix it is to get your focus back on your number one priority. And that is the key to being successful and living a fit and lit life with focus. You have to remain focused. And medicating it doesn't do very much good for you. Again, you can get side effects that way. And what a lot of people do to medicate their focus being off is they go and they try to put their hands to doing a lot of little things. They go over here and they try to, some people try to medicate it with alcohol. Some people try to medicate it with other drugs. Some people try to medicate it with sex and being with people or being in a relationship. But none of those things are going to get you back on track. One of the ways that God really explained focus to me was that if you're not focused, you're distracted. And that word distraction means that you lose or you have distraction. You no longer have tractions. It's kind of like being on a wet, slippery road. Our tires have what we call traction, that grip that we get from the rubber if the grooves are just right, if we have enough meat on the tires, right? And if you don't have that and your tires have worn smooth, then you're not going to get very much traction. And when the storm comes and when the rain happens, those tires cannot weather that storm. And you're going to get off and you're going to be going back and forth and you might hydroplane. Why? Because you're distracted. You have no more traction. And we have to have traction in our lives if we really want to go somewhere. And if we really want to get something out of life, we have to keep our focus. And this is exactly what I want you guys to do. So I want you to think about what we've been talking about all these different key ingredients. And I want you to take your number one priority and I want you to write it down. And I want you to think about it and think about ways that you can really, really stay focused on that priority to take you to the next place or the next level in your life in that particular area. Now, remember, we talk about fitness all around the board, and so we can have a lot of different areas where we need to really focus. But we start with one thing at a time. Sometimes it's just too much. And if you have a number one priority, that's like your North Star. And that star is going to guide you home in every area of your life. So again, for me, my number one priority is pleasing God. It's what does he think about it? Where are we going here? And when I pay attention to what pleases God, then my finances line up, my physical well-being is all intact, my emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being is up to par, and everything just works out right. My relationships go right, they go well, and this is the same thing for you. And my business works out well. So whatever your focus is, you whatever that priority is, you stay focused on that. And don't lose that focus or you might just find yourself spinning with vertigo. All right, guys and gals, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed. I know this is probably another short one. I'm not really aware of how long it's been, but I hope those were some good pointers for you. And again, I did say that I'm going to do some meditations for you guys, and I will do that soon. I think I have maybe one or two more videos that I'm going to bring to you guys first, and then I'm going to get some meditations out there to you. So again, thanks for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with anybody that you know that might need it. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, but not least, definitely, please comment below. Comment in the comment section and just let me know what it is that you're focused on, what your number one priority is. And if these videos have helped you at all, please let me know. And if there's some other content that you'd like me to cover, then also drop that down in the comments. All right, guys. All right, gals. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye-bye.